Greetings, good people. What's up? What's happening? My name is Dr. Clarence and welcome back to TV7 Live, where we get to give you all the hottest and top trending topics, broadcasting live and direct from Zimbabwe, Africa. Now, what's fresh today? A whole lot of things happening. We're seeing this cover page from the Newsday. Opposition leaders battle for attention at SADC summit. Now in this, there's revelation of Christopher Mutsvanga being isolated there at the SADC summit. Yes, he was isolated. Also today, we saw council officials getting 10 years locked up, 10 years sentenced. Top Harare City Council officials sentenced to 10 years. And the biggest story of today, chaos in the ruling party. Zanu PF, factionalism stalls self-verification, threatens DCC elections, which happens before the Zanu PF Congress in 2027. Remember, these things happen systematically. Now here, what has happened here and what is happening here. Enough respect to everybody who's watching us live right about now. Before we proceed with this video, I'd like to ask you for one favor. Make sure you click the like button and subscribe to TV7 Live if you have not yet already done so, that you never miss any of our videos, because we make videos each and every day. Alright, without wasting any time, let's jump straight with it. What is happening in the ruling party, Zanu PF? Zanu PF is currently facing significant challenges in its self-verification exercise due to internal factionalism. The situation has led to delays and disputes among party members vying for control. Now, the key issues here are factionalism. Camps linked to President Emerson Mnangagwa and his deputy Constantino Chiwenga are in conflict over control of party structures. Remember, if you control the party structures, then you control the party. Number two, deadline missed. Many Zanu PF leaders reported that cell restructuring exercise, which began in June, was supposed to be concluded by July 17, remains incomplete. Could it be the issue of the SADC summit, or it is just what is being said here? Zanu PF factionalism. Deliberate delays. Some party members believe that the delays are intentional, aimed at gaining control over the party structure. As one member stated, if you control the party structure, then you will control the party. Those are the key issues there at stake. Now, importance of this self-verification exercise. The self-verification process is crucial for assessing party membership and will influence leadership decisions at the upcoming elective Congress in 2027. However, many provinces have failed to meet the restructuring deadlines, which complicates the path to provincial elections. These are the same people who will be voting at the party's Congress. Now, on the challenges faced, resource shortages, a lack of resources, particularly computers, has hindered the verification process. Party officials have indicated that the commissariat's goal to computerize the exercise is currently unfeasible due to these shortages mentioned here. Impact on elections. The ongoing delays in cell restructuring could lead to the cancellation of District Coordination Committee elections this year, the DCC elections this year. And the official response from the ZANU-PF Director of Information, Farai Marapira, downplayed the factionalism claims, stating that there are no factions. The factions are in the media, not in the party. He emphasized that the verification process is ongoing and not a one-day process. And to conclude this particular story here, as the party navigates these internal conflicts, the future of ZANU-PF's leadership structure remains uncertain, with President Emerson Mnangagwa's term ending in the year 2028. The struggle for control between the factions will likely continue to shape the party dynamics. There, to those watching us live, you can write comments in the top chat or in the super chat. That's how I can see your names, so I can give you my shout out there. Christopher Mutsvanga. Now, what is happening there with Christopher Mutsvanga to Christopher Mutsvanga? SADC Summit. It is reported that Christopher Mutsvanga was very, very isolated there at the SADC Summit. However, we see his arrival here in a video showed when he arrives at the one of the events that were there. Apologies there, my network had dropped. That was Christopher Mutsvanga and his wife arriving there at the culture night there at the SADC Summit. Now, before we go through this, Christopher Mutsvanga is just going to go through some of the headlines in today's Newsday and the Zim People's Herald. Their cover pages. This one, opposition leaders battle for attention at SADC Summit. Opposition leaders battle as Mutsvanga casts a lone figure. ZANU-PF cell restructuring in shambles. Pomerai Arts is a work in progress. Opposition leaders battle. Okay, Zimbabwe's democratic space shrinking. ED glows in Geopomona project. We saw him yesterday with some of the SADC leaders there at Geopomona Waste Management Facility there. Shipping man jailed for attempted rape. Healthcare funders struggle to accommodate in low-income earners. ZANU-PF councillor released on 1,000 bail after being arrested for what? What happened to this one? ZANU-PF Ward 1 councillor for Seke has been granted US 1,000 bail after being arrested on 4 counts of defrauding 2 companies of US 4 million. Blessing Munyema, at 39, appeared before our regional magistrate Marion Azugofa, who ruled that he was not directly involved in the alleged fraud since he received a sealed envelope from his superior onward transmission. For onward transmission, Munemo will return to court on August 27 for routine remand pending the investigations on this case. Okay, this is what happened there. So we see him getting bail. Children's home boss acquitted for rape. Okay. Serious charges there. Anyways, he is acquitted by the court of the law. Harare Regional Court has acquitted an operations assistant at an orphanage who was accused of raping a 13-year-old orphan at the facility. Lloyd Josam, aged 31, of Adeline Road in Marlborough, had pleaded not guilty to indecent assault and 2 counts of rape. Josam, who was being represented by Levinas Mundieta, was acquitted after a full trial, with Magistrate Sandra Mupindu ruling that the witness testimonies were inconsistent. Mutwakazi there, we have exhausted internal remedies. So what now? The SADC summit happened. You were busy chanting demonstrations. We didn't see any. Parties should account for this best funds. Yesterday we saw a story there citing that Sengezo Tsabangu has hit a jackpot as he has received the funds that are meant for political parties. Man up for rape, robbery and kidnapping. A 34-year-old Blawai man was on Friday last week arraigned before court facing robbery, rape and kidnapping charges. Zimbabwe Mutale pleaded not guilty to the charges when he appeared before the Blawai Regional Magistrate Lambuzo Malunga. He was advised to return to court on August 20 this year. It is alleged that on evening of June 17 this year, a woman was walking with her siblings along Churchill Road in Bulawayo. Okay, now this is a very sad story. Anyways, let's go over to see what this one on the opposition leaders is saying here. Big up to everybody who is watching us live right about now. Opposition political party leaders. Right, opposition political party leaders fell over each other during the SADC head of state government summit as they. Sorry about that. Opposition political party leaders fell over each other during the SADC head of state and government summit as they battled for attention at the meeting held amid a blitz on political activists and human rights defenders. President Emerson Mnangagwa took over the bloc's chairmanship from Angolan President João Manuel Lourenço. The summit was one of the most significant political events on the regional calendar. So the convergence of power players from across Southern Africa, dressed in their finest, they arrived with entourages surrounded by an aura of importance and privilege. However, the firebrand Zanu PF spokesperson Christopher Mutsvanga cut a lonely figure while other politicians battled for recognition at the high-profile event. The Newsday witnessed that while high-ranking officials mingled, exchanged pleasantries, and jostled for recognition, Mutsvanga was conspicuously alone, a solitary figure amid a sea of handshakes and embrace. And they say this: at one point, Mutsvanga was seen wandering outside Parliament, his posture reflecting an air of resignation. It was a moment that captured the attention of many onlookers, including journalists who could not help but wonder what had led to his apparent isolation. Some journalists ended up requesting interviews with Mutsvanga after seeing him walking alone, uncharacteristically quiet outside the building. Earlier this year, Mnangagwa fired Mutsvanga from the position of Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Affairs Minister. Last week, Defense Forces Day at Faro Stadium, Vice President Constantino Chiwenga avoided a handshake with Christopher Mutsvanga. Then there are reports that Mutsvanga was booted out of Manize steel plant, with close sources citing the reason as being too vocal. Mutsvanga's phone was not reachable yesterday. However, political analyst Ruben Mufana yesterday said Mutsvanga's unpredictable nature has led to his marginalization within the administration. Mutsvanga is very unpredictable, volatile, and quite unstable person. During the Mugabe era, era, Mutsvanga ended up being fired because of his volatile and divisive nature. We have been seeing the same thing happening here again with the Mnangagwa administration. At first, Mnangagwa kept Mutsvanga close to him, but of late, with all his comments, reckless comments actually being made in the media, he was let go. He is somebody who cannot be trusted. So, at the end of the day, you lose allies. You lose people who can actually trust you and become isolated, Mbofana say. Meanwhile, three familiar yet increasingly marginalized figures of the country's political landscape made their presence felt at the summit. MDC leaders Douglas Monzora, self-imposed Citizen Coalition for Change Interim Secretary General Sengezo Tsabangu, who is now a senator, and National Constitutional Assembly President Lavu Maduku, once prominent names in the country's political discourse, were seen navigating the summit events with a determined air, seeking validation and perhaps a resurgence on the regional stage. Despite its diminished political clout, the trial was afforded the same hospitality as other delegates at the summit. Monzora Tsabangu and Maduku were provided with the best treatment, enjoying luxurious amenities reserved for summit attendees. The trio's attendance at the summit raised eyebrows given their recent fall from grace on the political arena. Observers said their presence at the summit appeared to be a last-ditch effort to reclaim relevance, if not within the country, then at least among regional peers. The summit was also marked by an atmosphere of heightened security as the host country took extraordinary measures to ensure the safety of the event. From the early hours of the morning, the city streets were bustling with uniformed officers with roadblocks set up at strategic points leading to the venue. The imposing security presence was palpable, and even before reaching the summit location, visitors were subjected to thorough checks. Delegates and journalists alike had to navigate tight security, with each checkpoint meticulously scrutinizing credentials and passes. Inside the summit venue, the security measures were even more intense, with every entry point guarded by armed forces, and access to different areas of the conference was tightly controlled. There. Now, top Harare city officials sentenced to 10 years in prison. Yes, this has happened. And who are these guys who got sentenced to 10 years in prison? There is one called Stanley Ndemera, who is a former acting finance director, and Emmanuel Mutambirwa, who was the valuer and estate manager behind the parceling of land that was leased at Old Hararians Sports Club there. The High Court has sentenced two senior Harare city officials to 10 years in prison for criminal abuse in a case where they illegally sold commercial stands. Stanley Ndemera, the former acting finance director, and Emmanuel Mutambirwa, who was the valuer and estate managers, were behind the parceling of land that was leased to the Old Hararians Sports Club. Posting on X handle, Zach said Zach arrested the duo after it emerged that they connived to parcel out commercial stands on land leased to Old Hararian Sports Club. Prosecutor Wispam Baudi and Lovak Masuku had said between September 2018 and August 2020, the two acted in cahoots to facilitate the sale of stands. The stands were sold to Optero Enterprise, Silver Harbor Enterprise, and Layfoot Investment. The High Court Judge Justice Benjamin Chikowere presided over the matter, and we see the guys here getting 10 years behind the bars. 10 years for corruption. Yeah, that is what you get for crime. Anyways, enough respect to everybody who was watching us live right about now. Dr. Clarence is the name. TV7 Live is the channel. To those who are interested in getting instant loans, send to your Ecocash or One Wallet account. The link is in the description box below. As always, thank you for watching, and I'm out.
Zanu.